Good evening, everyone. It's another instalment of Fat Boy at the Opera, and yesterday I was invited by the Welsh National Opera to go and see Wow, I really missed that one. Let's try this again for professionalism's sake. Well, I was invited to the modern opera Migrations. Migrations has been co-written. God darn it! The opera is split into several episodic variations on the take of Migrations. The only name that I instantly recognised was Eric Nagale Charles, of whom I've read his memoir, Eric Nagale, when it was sent to me by Parthian, which it's here somewhere. Oh no! Do I own it anymore? It appears that I don't own it anymore, but trust me, I have, and it's very good. This is going to be a constant. Why won't you stay? Well, I know the reason why I won't stay, because actually Welsh National Opera programmes are chock-a-block. I gotta give it to them. They're full. They're full of detail, but they're also full of deceit. There's gotta be something I can use. Use a bottle of ink. Let's see if a bottle of ink will work. Come on, Migrations. I know I shouldn't feel too proud of this, but I feel like Handy Andy from DIY SOS. Eat your heart out. It was my train of thought. The Mayflower. The freedom to move. The freedom to leave. The freedom to find a better place. And the early American do indeed find that. The way Migrations comes in, and where the turning of the screw is to begin throughout the other episodes is, well, where does that start and where does it stop? Where is the cruelty and where is the exploitation? But from the maiden voyage of the Mayflower, we then shoot through time to right now. The birds up in the sky, who look down at the people, realising that they can't fly. Why are they even trying to go anywhere, ultimately calling them stupid. The fact that all the birds are played by kids makes it 10 times funnier. Now, this shift in time, get used to it. It's all over the place. You really have to keep your eye on the ball. I mean, you're meant to keep your eye on the ball. You're meant to be watching the performance. I don't know why you'd be going to the theatre to not watch the stage. I'm glad my drama degree has finally come in use, because I can give you that information. From the sky, we move down to the Cree Reservation, where mother and daughter are preparing to protest the fitting of an oil pipe through their land, their native land, the land that is rightfully theirs and was unjustly taken away. The land that they have nurtured is ultimately going to be used for exploitation. We swiftly transition and turn the clock back a few hundred years to find out about Perrault and his story. I don't think it's a coincidence that Perrault being a black slave, we actually don't find out about him straight away. We find out about his owners and how, well, they're just currency. A slave's worth is showcased to be twofold: how much work you can obtain out of them and how much money can you profiteer. The colonialists moving from Bristol to the Caribbean highlight that they're just going to jack up the price for their slaves and then use that profit to buy more spices, sugar and rum. Complete profiteering and indulge in their own indulgence, when Perrault is trying to talk about what he dreams of, what he hopes for, and his family history. They're too busy eating food. They're not really that interested. Perrault's story and Cree Reservation stay on stage throughout, and there is a clear juxtaposition not only in the proxemics but in what they stand for. Throughout the episodes, can we just say that this hasn't fallen over once since I've done that? That's great, isn't it? But we move back and forth between the birds and the Mayflower, understanding the struggles and the wants of both. And this sets the tone for what is to unfold. But the Mayflower expressing the harsh, cruel conditions that the early Americans had to face within their voyage to find home, and the birds want to go back to the place that they've always come from, that annual migration where they find the same rock, the same piece of land, in the same piece of sea, and how everything just works. It's all great finding home and settling and knowing where that is, but sometimes there is no fixed abode, and sometimes people are forced to find or to adopt a new one. This is something that the birds are going to have to struggle with later on within the opera. Let's go to an assault centre. Refugees from Eritrea, South Sudan and Syria talk about where they have come from, what they have had to give up for this new home called Britain, despite the fact that they are educated, pacifist, tender, loving parents. Within Britain, that's all seemed to be reduced to one word: refugee. Negative connotations that are associated with the status of being a refugee ultimately rejects them from their new home whilst being rejected from the home that they called. All optimism is lost, and that is exceedingly crescendoed within the latter part of Act 1. On the opening of Act 2, we come back to the Cree Reservation, where their protest seems futile. It reminds me of the Pulitzer Prize winning book by Louise Erdrich, The Night Watchman. I think I have a copy of that. I think it's down here. Oh no! I swear I've read these books. I don't know why. But if you've gone to watch this or want to have a taste, definitely go pick up The Night Watchman. It's a great piece of literature. I know you should grasp how the opera is working and that continues, but I think the highlight for me has to be where Bollywood and opera cross over, where Indian doctors have been advised that they can have a good life. They can have the life that they want, and we can promise them that if they leave India to come to London. The problem is that it's only good on paper, and if you don't think I'm going to use on paper to tangent into Love Island, oh, you've come to the wrong channel. Down, 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 down. Down, 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 down. Who is our next bombshell guest at the Brit Island? It's Enoch Powell. And unlike with the public and vote out contestants of Love Island, we somehow didn't Enoch Powell. What a world, eh? That piece as a whole has to be like the standout moment for me. Or maybe when the Wiggles division of NASA came out at the end. I'm not going to lie, Migrations, you lost me on that one. You could... I was expecting the ensemble to come out ablaze going toot toot chugga chugga big red car. Nevertheless, if you do have a chance to go see this, please do. I'll leave a link to get tickets down below. The vast change in location, time, theme, and also cast. I liked what they did there. Thank you again to Welsh National Opera for inviting me, and I'm off to see later in the year La Boheme. I've been invited to that. I've known nothing about any of these, and that's the joy of trying something new.